On our wedding day, she looked at me like I was everything. I looked back at her and felt nothing. Not nervousness, not joy, nothing. And I smiled, and I said I do. And I built a life on top of that nothing for 30 years. People ask how you stay in the wrong marriage. Like it's a mystery. Like one morning you wake up and suddenly realize you're in the wrong place. It doesn't happen like that. It happens in 1,000 small decisions. 1,000 mornings where leaving felt harder than staying. 1,000 nights where you told yourself, this is enough. This is fine. This is what marriage is. We had children. We had a home. We had a life that looked exactly right from the outside. Christmas cards, family dinners, 25th anniversary party with 60 people in our backyard, 60 people celebrating something that had been hollow for decades, and I stood there and shook hands and cut the cake, and nobody knew. Maybe she didn't even know, or maybe she did. Maybe we were both just too afraid to say it out loud. I'm not here to tell you to leave your marriage. I'm not here to tell you to stay. I'm here to tell you what happens when you make that choice unconsciously, when you let years make the decision for you, when you wake up at 62 and realize that your life happened to you. Instead of you happening to your life, stay with me. Her name was Carol. She was kind. I want to say that first because this story isn't about her being a villain. She wasn't. She was warm and steady, and she loved me in the most consistent way I have ever been loved. She deserved someone who could love her back the same way. I was not that person. I knew it before I married her. I think I knew it on our first date. There was warmth between us, but not fire. Comfort, but not electricity. And I was 28 and everyone around me was getting married, and I thought, maybe this is what grown-up love feels like. Maybe fire is just something they put in movies. Maybe I was being unrealistic, so I proposed. And she said yes. And I told myself the feeling would come. It didn't come. Not in year 1, not in year 5, not in year 15 when we renewed our vows on a beach in Portugal, and she cried happy tears, and I held her hand and stared at the ocean and felt the specific loneliness of being surrounded by love you cannot receive. That's the thing nobody tells you about the wrong marriage. It's not miserable in the way people imagine. It's not fighting in coldness and obvious unhappiness. It's perfectly warm. It's safe. It's just not yours. Like wearing someone else's coat for 30 years. It keeps you from the cold, but it was never made for your body. I loved Carol. I want to be clear about that too. Just not in the way she needed. Not in the way that makes someone feel chosen. And I think somewhere deep in her she felt that gap. She filled it with the children and the garden and her friendships and her faith. She built a beautiful life around the space I couldn't fill. I watched her do that, and I admired her for it, and I felt guilty every single day. There was a man I met at a conference when I was 44. We talked for 3 hours over dinner about everything, books and regrets, and what we wanted our lives to mean. I drove home that night feeling more seen in 3 hours than I had in, 16 years of marriage. Nothing happened. I never saw him again. I never told Carol. But that dinner cracked something open in me that I spent the next 16 years trying to close again. Because what it showed me was not that I had married the wrong person. It showed me that I had never let myself be known. That I had built a marriage around a version of myself that was safe and acceptable and, honestly, completely incomplete. And Carol had spent 30 years loving a man who was only half present. She deserved all of someone. I gave her the half that was easy to give. We separated when I was 58. Quietly, without drama. The children were grown. The house was sold. We divided things with a civility that felt almost as sad as the marriage itself. She cried. I held her. We both knew it was right. We both knew it was 30 years too late. She's remarried now, to a man who looks at her the way she always deserved to be looked at. I've seen them together twice. Both times I felt something I can only describe as grief mixed with relief. Grief for what she didn't have with me. Relief that she finally has it. Do I regret staying? That's the question everyone wants answered. And the truth is, I regret the unconsciousness of it. I don't regret my children. I don't regret the life we built. I regret that I let fear make every major decision for 30 years. Fear of being alone. Fear of hurting her. Fear of admitting that I had made a mistake at the altar. Fear is a very efficient thief. It takes decades before you notice everything it stole. I'm 64 now, I live alone, and for the first time in my adult life, I feel like I'm living honestly. That's not nothing, but it came at a cost I wouldn't wish on anyone. If you are in something that fits like someone else's coat, I'm not telling you to burn it. I'm telling you to at least admit to yourself that it doesn't fit. Because the most dangerous thing I ever did wasn't staying. It was pretending. Pretending so long that I forgot what the truth felt like. Don't forget what the truth feels like.